Hey, how's going? In this video, we will discuss how to integrate Google Trends in your own application. So Google Trend is a tool from Google where we can do the research or market insight, and we can see the ongoing trends for a given keyword, or we can see the trends for the latest stories and insight as well. So as you can see here, I'm on right now on Google Trend page, and right now the trends is going on for the celebrities, World Cup, football, and then we have a coronavirus, of course, stop Asian hate and March Madness. So these are the trend keyword right now. You can see, as you can see on the screen. So let's say if we want to do the research for a given keyword, for our own keyword, and we want to see the trend and how the trend started. So I'll just start with, let's say, Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is a pretty famous cryptocurrency right now, as you can see. So okay, so here I type Bitcoin, and the geolocation is a United States, and the time is for past 12, last 12 month. Category is all category, and is a web search. And we can see for the last 12 month the chart, as the graph is going like is a pretty sharp actually curve here. It went all the way from 25 to 100. Actually, it was a big spike in end of end of November, and then slightly downturn in end of Feb as well. So that's the trend. And then we can see by region as well. So Hawaii, Nevada, California, Washington, New Jersey. So these are the states. So it can see the where the most interest. We can see it in Hawaii as of this chart. And then a related topic and keyword. So related topic was, okay, these are the NYSE, New York Stock Exchange. This is a GameStop, I guess, and then AMC. So these are the stock, the related keyword, the people. Then they basically, after this Bitcoin keyword, that these keyword are followed by Bitcoin. Okay, so and then related key queries as well. So GME stock, Mara stock as well. And then it is actually very useful tool, and we can do the market research, or let's say if you're launching a product, or if you have a company, or if you're doing research, this tool can be used and see the market as a using the big data from the Google, and we can do the research from the market inside. So I'm just putting right now Bitcoin, and then we can also compare with other keyword as well. So let's say if I have a Bitcoin, and I will say Bitcoin versus stock, so we can compare the Bitcoin versus stock. So stock is in red right now. So as you can see, the stock was, the curve is a little is a different than the Bitcoin, and we had a spike here in Jan 24th to 30th that week. So and then we can see the Bitcoin is the blue line. Same goes to the our this geo map as well. And then we have related queries, interest bar for okay, so this is, sorry, interest for Bitcoin. Then we have related queries, and then related queries for this is for stock, and this for a Bitcoin, as we can see. Okay, so this is, a sense, is a very useful tool. So now the question is how someone, or we can integrate this basically API, Google API, in our own application. So we can have a scenario where we have a data, so we don't want to be just typing manually on this website, but we want to do automate this process. So in our application we have a data, so we have those keyword or data, and we want to see the market insight using the Google trend. So how we can integrate this widget in our application? So it's pretty easy. We can integrate this widget in our own application. I will walk you through the process, and I build the application. I'm using a React app right now. So this video is not like a React tutorial. However, I assume you know the React. So React is a famous library out there for web development. And what we will do, we'll take this widget and just integrate in our own application. So here is in my I'm launching a Visual Studio Code, and I build basically Google Trend widget already. So the reason basically I don't want to be typing each keyword, so we will save the time. So I will walk you through the each line of the code, how this widget is working. So in our React app, so this is our Google Trend widget, and then in our app we basically call this widget multiple time, and then I will just explain each line. So okay, so we are building a React component. It's a function based component, and the component name is Google Trends, as you can see, and we are passing the multiple parameters for this component. So first one is a type. So let's see the building process, how the building process is. So I'll just start with very simple. So let's remove the stock, and we will just stick with one single keyword. Okay, so right now I'm just looking at trend for the Bitcoin. So okay, so it has a first, it has a chart, and then uh, it has a then geolocation, and then we can do related topic and related queries as well. So let's see how we can build a chart widget first. So first what we need to do, we can see here is that there is called embed code. Just click on embed code. So this is the code. So we will take the code, given a notepad, just paste it here. So we need to see how the Google is constructing the object in JavaScript. So how we can construct the same way the object in our widget, and then we can basically integrate. So these value we will pass as a dynamically, and we can launch basically in our application the same widget. So this basically line, what it does is dynamically load the Google script, which is for the Google trend. And then we need to, after that, we need to construct this Google object, which basically is a trend or embed, and then is render explore widget, and it has a multiple keywords in a data object. So we have a time series. So as you can see, this is my time series. Actually, this widget is a time series. Here, if I select this one, so this is called geomap. So this is geomap. So each widget is basically different, it has a different. So we will go over. So let's see first. So we are doing it with the time series. Okay, so I need a time series comparison. I'm doing a comparison item is object, array of object. It takes a keyword, geolocation, time, and then it takes categories and property, and then it has the next object is called explore query. So it takes basically is like a simple query string. It takes a bunch of parameters, so we will go over geolocation, query again, and date as well. And then has a guest path, and guest bar is nothing. This is just another basically the path for the Google trend. So this is seems like as a guest path is referring to, so this as if we were on the Google side, but we took a embedded code. So this basically refer to the embedded code. So we are using embedded code. So let's see how we can build this script. It's a very straightforward, but let's see how we can build a script. Okay, so I'm just going to bring my, okay, so let's bring this down here so we can see how we can construct the code. Okay, so in Google, as in Google trend component, I have few parameters type. So type is referred to basically our what type of chart we are building. So as you can see, this is the time series, and then later we will be calling a geomap, and then related queries, related topics. So we need a bunch of different widgets. So it's not just one widget, it's a different widget. So the type is different. So each type is a different. So that's why we need to pass the type, which type we are calling in. So this is related to the type of the widget. Comparison related to actually this is the object of comparison. This is what I'm constructing is. So comparison basically is, this is our comparison item. So comparison item take array of object, and each object has the keyword geo and geolocation and time, etc. So let's go into our, so this is I'm passing as the array of object, so we will just pass as is. And then the keyword, of course, is a keyword is basically, this is our keyword. So keyword is a explore query. So explore query object takes the query string object, so we will construct this one. And then the guest path, this is just a hard-coded path in our widget. So, and the property, of course, I didn't mention the property. So properties here is blank. So blank is empty right now. So this refer to web search. So if you go to Google Trend, so here we can see it has a web search and it has a Google Shopping, New Search, Image Search, and YouTube. So we can see the trend for different Google properties, such as whether we are searching a trend in a news or YouTube or Google Shopping. So for now we were sticking with web search. So let's go back to our code. So this is our property we are passing, and the time is a, of course, the time is default is a past 12 month. However, we can change to past 90 days or past 5 year. So these are the case. So we have a geolocation, time, categories. We are just sticking for now all categories. However, we can pass the additional parameter for the categories as well. But for now, we are just sticking with all categories, and this is our properties. So which property we are looking? Default is web search. Okay. So these are our parameter, and this is our keyword basically. So keyword is a Bitcoin. So is very self-explanatory. So this is widget type, and this is a comparison object we constructed. Keyword, geolocation, time, how far we want to see it, and the property is basically is whether is a YouTube or is a web search. So what we are doing is in this widget, all we have to do is we have to basically construct this third party, which is a Google script. We have to return this script. Okay, so in React we are using basically the package, actually the React package. It's called React load script. So React load script let you load the third party script. So this is very handy since we don't have to struggle through it. So we can do React, it can just load this package, load third-party script in your React application. As you can see, very straightforward. So what we are doing is it has a bunch of event on create, on error, on load. So we are interested in on load right now. So we basically use onload. So, and we will pass the URL. See this example, as you can see, is just loading the jQuery library. But in our case, we are just loading this Google loader, embed loader script. Okay, so what we are doing is so we need to import first our React load script, which we did already, and then this is our event. So for now I will just skip the event part, we will walk. So just okay, so what we are doing is we are just returning the script. This is the hard-coded path, and this path, everything is in this basically, so you can get it. So everything is here, so it's here. So we just copy it, paste it there, and then on load event we have to inject our handler. So we basically build this is our handler is arrow function, and what it does is basically build the widget object, which is this one. So we have to construct this object and on load handler, and thus basically that's what we're constructing is by given keywords and type, and then we will basically onload. So that's pretty much is very self-explanatory and is very simple. So now let's do how we can construct the object. So now next thing is, so as we can see, for constructing object we have to just ignore the script tag. So we in constructing, so what we need is we need to construct the object as a trends.embed, that's render explore widget. Then we need to basically do the type comma by comparison item. So up to here comparison item, then explore query, which is a query, then guest path. So this is basically, and then of course we have a categories and property as well. So what I'll do is I will launch this one. This is actually, this is the very interesting topic right now. So because the this widget all is the most important thing in this widget is just constructing the object. So which is is basically we are doing it in handle script load function. So in event. So here, as we can see here, so first we need to construct our trend embed. So window is a browser object, so is a browser global browser object. So anything, if we have to construct anything, we need to attach to windows. So windows, so what we are doing is we are just doing is window dot trends, and then we are embedding is, then we doing it this render explore widget 2. And then what we are doing is all we have to do, we have to just pass the type. So the next is a type. What's the type is? So type is basically what type of the chart we are loading in. So first chart is a time series. So as we can see, here's a time series. The second chart is called geomap, and then the third one is called related topics. Here, related topics, and the fourth one is called related queries. So these all widgets are optional. However, it's interesting to know that you can basically call all these widgets in just in a single component, just by like parameter driven. So we just have a single component which basically will be rendering all these four widgets. However, only we are just passing the different type. So as we saw it, we need to just pass the type. Each time the type will be different. So we have now the type followed by the comparison item. So comparison item is basically object. It takes the array of object here, and that has a keyword, geolocation, and time series. So all we are doing is comparison object. We are just taking the object in as is a constructed object like array of objects. So this we are gonna pass in a comparison keyword. And then next is a category. We basically are just hard coding 0, so it means everything. So comparison item is this is the constructed object. And property, we are passing the property as a parameter. So property is, if it's a blank, then it's a web search, but if it's a YouTube, we're gonna pass YouTube or news, etc. So this is the properties. The next is the properties value we are passing, followed by type, and then we have a comparison item, category, and properties. So next object uh, is basically explore query, and it has a guest path. It has two properties in it. The next object, it has a explore query and guest path. So explore query, what it take is basically it's gonna take let's see it here. So it take a geolocation, query string, date as the date. So and then guest path take this hard coded. So guest path, we are just hard coding this the Google path, and that's pretty much is this basically gonna construct the object for the widget. And then what we do is we just attach in our script onload event. So let's see how we are calling this method in our app.js, and how we are constructing the comparison object, keyword, and all these parameters. So let's go back now in our app. So app is just our starter point. So what we are doing is, so right now I will just stick with the single keyword. So we have a Bitcoin, geolocation is a US. So in our, as you can see in our app, so these parameters, keywords, geolocation, time, properties, so these all four parameter is basically our application can feed the data. Right now I'm doing the hard coded values. However, application can feed this data as a dynamically, and then we can render the Google Trends. So right now, okay, so in our keyword, so I'm just passing a single item, so it's gonna be array of keyword. So I'm passing a single item in array, geolocation in US, time I'm passing, so it's take basically today to 12-month back, and this is for 1 year. Property I'm just doing default, which is gonna be web search, and then we're gonna build a comparison object. So comparison object is this one. So it's gonna build the array of keyword, geolocation US, and time. So since in our keyword we have a single item, so what we are doing is we are just mapping into keyword. So let's say if we have multiple keywords, so all it's gonna basically build the multiple object in an array. So right now we have a Bitcoin, a single item, so it's gonna just build a single item in a single object in an array. So keyword will be Bitcoin and the geolocation will be US, and it's gonna basically, so we can just print here wisely and see what it's doing is. So console, so we can say console.log, so we can see how object is being constructed. So I will see this one, and then what's our keyword is as well. So we will inspect one by one, and then we will see. So this is how we are constructing the comparison object. The next is a keyword. So keyword all we are doing is we are just keyword, we are just I think this is our keyword, which is a Bitcoin. So it's the reason we need to concatenate. We need to basically concatenate when we have a multiple values here. So right now is a single value, is it doesn't matter. We can just pass as is. However, if there are multiple values in an array, what we need to do, we need to just join this array with comma separator. So this is what it's gonna do. But however, I'm gonna print it. So okay, so these two objects we are constructing is rest we are just passing as is. So now we basically call our Google Trends widget. So Google Trend widget we call in, we call, okay, so what's the type of the graph we're gonna build. So it's a widget. What type of widget we're gonna build? It's gonna be like time series, geomap, or related keyword. So I'm saying, okay, give me the time series. Comparison is I'm asking, okay, give me this. I'm just passing this object which we constructed using keyword geolocation. The next thing is a keyword. Keyword is just whatever the keyword was in the array. So we are just concatenating with the comma separator. And then these geolocation and time is we are passing as is, and the property. So the first widget we're gonna build as a time series. The second widget we're gonna build as a geomap. The same like here in the Google. So we have this is geomap and this is time series. The third widget we're gonna build for related queries. So I will explain later bit these things, why we are doing is like these conditional loading it, and here as well related topic we are loading conditional as well. So let's see, we will just save it, run it, and see how we're gonna. So I'm going to launch application. This is my application so let's reload it. Okay, so this is what our page looks like. So we are loading the 4 widgets. The first widget is called time series, which is here. We are passing, okay, United States, so past 12-month web search, and we for 12 month, this is the time series looks like is for the keyword Bitcoin. The second widget we are loading for we are loading for a geolocation, yeah, geomap, yeah, is a geomap geolocation. So it's gonna look like this one. This is geomap for the Bitcoin. The third one we are doing for related queries for this is what is the related queries price Bitcoin stock. The third widget we are loading is basically the related topic. So these are the related topics. So let's change few things here and there, and we say how it looks. So first what I will do is I will just pause the okay, so let's go back to our first Google trend. So as you can see in Google trend, we can compare with the second keyword. So I'm just passing a stock. So how the stocks are doing with versus Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is a blue and stocks are red. So you can see the graph here. So they basically had a related query. One thing to notice here, when we do the comparison, in comparison, Google doesn't return a related topics. It only return related topics when we have a single item. When we are not comparing it, we are just passing the single keyword. So here I can see here I have a related topic here. So as soon as I have the second keyword, the Google basically, so we had a stock. So let's go back to stock. So we will pause the stock, and we don't have a related topic anymore. We have a related queries. So what it does is basically does the time series with the with comparison, and then it does the geo map with comparison. Then it does related queries for the first keyword, related query for the second keyword. So first keyword Bitcoin, and then the stock as well. So let's take a look here in our scenario. So I will pass the second keyword as a stock. So let's save it and load our page and see how it looks it's in our page. So as you can see here, Bitcoin versus stock. So this is the same chart we saw it there, same geo map we saw it. So we have a related query Bitcoin and related query for stock, but we have to basically skip the related topics for if we have a multiple keywords. So that's the reason here when we are calling it here. So I had some conditional statements. So what we are doing is, so for time series and geo map, all we are doing is we are just calling the widget, just passing the comparison and keyword as is, and very straightforward, it just render it. However, for related queries and related topic, I had to tweet little bit. The reason being is because it takes little slightly different parameters. So what we are doing is we do it for each keyword, we map it, and what we are doing is we say if our keyword is a single item in array, so we just gonna be just doing a related query as the type. However, if it's a multiple item, if we are comparing is, then we have to basically the name type will be with embedded with the index. So index it will be 0, 1, 2. So depend how many number of items in array, in a given array we have, and then we pass the same comparison object and rest remains same. And in the related topic, we only render when we have a single item in array. We just render it, otherwise we are not rendering it anything. We are just saying okay, leave it, just put blank space there. So this is the logic we are doing it here. And then what it does is basically, as we can see it here. Now let's take a look how we had some okay, a console, and let's take a look at console how we are constructing the object. Okay, so here as you can see, so when we had a Bitcoin and stock, so we basically construct this object as a different. So we have it like, okay, so we are just building our keyword Bitcoin geolocation. So this is how we are constructing our comparison object. And then the keyword, what we are doing is we are just doing it as a comma separator. We are just building a string for the array with a comma separator. So this is what we are doing it's here actually. So we are just doing the array with comma separator for the keyword, and a comparison object we are building it as an object, array of object here, and we pass it in our widget, and widget basically takes these parameter as is, and then is just inject in our widget. And widget basically what it does is a build a object. So first is basically, as I said, is our type, the chart type with a time series, then followed by the next object we are building is which has a few properties, comparison item and category, and then is a property type, and then next object is explore query in this one. So let's go back now, just change few parameter more, and then we are almost done here. So I had but okay, so I'm comparing with Bitcoin versus stock. So let's change the properties as well. So by default is doing a web search, so we can give it, let's say news. Let's search a trend in a news, Google News. So we will change our property, and as you can see, I will just do the duplicate. Okay, as you can see, this is our search. This chart is a different, and it has a different Bitcoin price. This is web, and as soon as we go in is our news. So here our chart is so I'm gonna close this one. So our chart is a different now. For this is for the news. So we are looking actually. So this is for the news. Yeah. So news, Bitcoin price prediction, news, Bitcoin stock, and then stock news. And so this is, we are now looking the trend in a news, Google News, and here we are looking in on the web actually. So let's go back. We can do it again like a YouTube as well. So the property can be YouTube, and let's say I want to search for a 1 month, last 1 month. So save it and go back to our widget, reload the widget. So this is we have a, okay, for past 30 days, uh, and then it is Bitcoin live, Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin news. So these are the YouTube trends. So as you can see, we can play around with the different parameters and data, but this is very useful for any application, any web application where we want to integrate, use Google Trend widget in our application, and we can feed the data as a dynamic from our application, and we can render the Google trend on our on our own application. So here you can see it. So we have like a different type of widgets, and we can change the keyword, we can change the time, we can change the property, and then of course geolocation as well we can change. So I'm changing to Canada, US to Canada. So let's take a look, reload the page. So this is right now is Canada. So this is actually, so it doesn't have a data for the enough data for the Bitcoin in Canada for a 1 month, I guess. If I change maybe for Canada, so if I change to 12 month, so we may get the data. So it depend on the, yes, so after passing the 12 month we have a data for the Canada as well. So as you can see, this widget is very useful for if you want to integrate Google Trend in your own application. So you can feel free to download this code from the GitHub. We will put our code in GitHub and put all the detail and instruction as well, and then you can integrate in your own application Google Trend. I hope you like this video, and see you next time. Thank you. Bye now.